All right, here we are for a one-on-one interview with Doug. How are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, good. Where are you calling in from?
New York, New York, the Upper West Side of Manhattan.
Okay. Did you grow up in, you're from Connecticut originally,
I
right?
am from Connecticut. Yes, Greenwich, Connecticut originally.
Okay, very good.
Yeah,
Um, and so we'll go over your career and what projects you have going on and
for
all of
sure.
that. And identity and pronouns, let's make sure.
He, they, anything is fine.
Okay.
Anything, yeah,
Okay, very good. Um,
actually.
and let's talk about the sixth reel.
Sure, I'm so happy to talk about that. So it was written by I have no Charles Bush and Carl Andrus, who are two of parental figures to me at this point in my life. And it's really a very gentle comedy. It's sort of like those old comedies from the 60s, like It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, or Top Cappy, which was this old movie with Melina Mercouri. And it's just basically a heist comedy about a group of people who all find a lost reel to an old classic movie. And we all sort of fight over who gets to keep it. It's an old Lon Chaney movie that's actually a real movie called London After Midnight. And it's a great, great cast. It's Charles and his longtime muse, Julie Halston, myself, Tim Daly, Margaret Cho. Great group of people.
Yeah. And how was experience overall, just with filming it and all that?
Oh, it was great. It was the first round of things that started to shoot again after COVID.
Mhm.
So during COVID, I should say, because it was in October of 2020 when we shot it.
Mhm.
And so it was wild. Just it was the first time any of us were really around a group of people, I think, and we couldn't really spend any time together when we weren't working. And but it was a fascinating experience. And it was one of my favorite times actually. So it was amazing. It was really wonderful. Yeah.
Mhm. And what was your character? Talk about your character.
I played Rodney, who is sort of an extended version. I guess they wrote it for me, so it's sort of an extended version of myself. They know me so well.
Mhm.
So yeah, just a young, very enthusiastic lover of classic film who just likes being around this very eccentric ragtag team of people. So yeah, it's fascinating. It's wonderful, I think.
Very good. Um,
Yeah.
and there's another Hurricane Bianca movie, right?
There's going to be a third one. I was actually just talking to the producer this morning. It looks like, well, it doesn't look like, I think we are going to be making it in September in Alabama, and that'll be fun. Yeah, it's a fantastic script and a fantastic story. I think this has been announced that we're going to meet Bianca's mother in this story, and so that'll be a really interesting new take on this sort of franchise. I call it a franchise. It's like a Marvel movie with, better wigs. Um, so yeah, it's nice, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. It's been about 6 years since we did the last one, so it'll be great.
Oh, like a
Yeah.
reunion, it sounds like.
Yeah. I mean, and I've seen them all. I see them probably. I mean, I see Matt Kugelman, the director, probably a couple times a year because he lives in New York. But Roy and Kasha Davis and a lot of the other girls who are in it, I see them, probably once a year, and I'm just excited to get to go spend another month with them. So that'll be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, Bianca came to our gay film festival to promote the film, so it was fun. I know.
Yeah. In 2018, I wish I could have gone because I know they were doing that whole circuit. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Have you been to Chicago?
I haven't, I know something. I've never actually been to Chicago. It's the only, I would say, yeah, it's probably the only major American city I have never been to.
Oh,
So
yeah, you have to come
I
visit.
will soon.
You have to
Yes,
keep me posted. I would love to meet you in person.
absolutely.
Are you a big RuPaul Drag Race fan? Or are you watching the All
Um,
Stars?
so here's my answer to that. I had never actually seen it before I got that job on Hurricane Bianca. So only in the interim. I had in between, I had 4 days between getting the job, Hurricane Bianca, and actually starting shooting. So in those 4 days, aside from just, canceling the next month of my life, I sort of had to bone up on Bianca, and so I watched her season. But there was it's its own universe at this point, even at that point 6 years ago. So I didn't know everything, and I never really learned everything until the pandemic started, and then I actually caught up and watched all of the seasons. So yeah, it's so much fun. So yeah, big fan now. Yeah.
Yeah. What was one takeaway from Kimmy Schmidt that got from the experience?
Well, I think one of the things that I've and it's always stuck with me was how just set culture. I've been on sets where things were probably a little tense and people were not thrilled to be there, and things were dark and not terribly fun. That was not the case there. It was just a really relaxed, nice time, and that tone was really set. I just have such admiration for Ellie Kemper, who I had all of my scenes opposite. She really knew how to lead a cast and a crew through long days, and she kept things light. I remember one particular moment. I was having trouble sort of just landing a laugh the way I wanted to on one of those lines. And I was actually sort of getting myself a little worked up, just because I was like, why am I not able to just get land it the way I wanted it to? And she did something that I think only in hindsight I realized was just so generous and so wonderful, which is that in the middle of one of my takes, where on my coverage, she started just laughing hysterically. And I think, at the time I thought, oh wow, I must really be nailing it. But I think at the same time that was just something to encourage someone who is a little nervous and a little stiff. And that generosity, it sticks with me, to this day, and I hope to mirror that in everything that I do and everywhere I go. So it's that's what one of the things that sticks out now. And the other thing, and this is a little bit broader, and this is a little bit more insight into me, is that when I was a kid, when I was 10 years old, I saw the revival of Nine on Broadway 10 times. How many times did I say? I saw it 10 times. And Jane Krakowski was in that, and she won a Tony Award for it. And I never had any scenes with Jane, but Jane was on the show. And in the intervening years, I have seen her occasionally at various places, and she's always been lovely and gracious to me. But she has no memory that I was this little boy who used to see Nine and wait at the stage door literally twice a month for 5 months. And just the full circle nature of that is really very, very special. So yeah.
That's so cool. I was wondering if being in New York, and then are you a big musical fan? Have you?
Yes, very much so. Very much so. I think for me, I'm not as up on current things. My whole nature is that I sort of live in 1962. But yes, the answer is yes. A big musical theater fan. My knowledge just sort of leans towards pre-1990 things. So yeah.
Do you have a favorite of all time?
A favorite musical? Oh, so many. Carousel, Carnival, Fun. I love Funny Girl just because I have a deep and abiding affection for Barbra Streisand. But I don't know just about the quality of the musical itself. But as far as my personal enjoyment, that's big up there. So Carousel, Funny Girl, West Side Story, Grey Gardens, Nine is huge. And I love The Rink, which is a Cantor and Em musical from 1984, which is I love Pal Joey, I love a lot of them are just scores, just and I have to say I saw Oliver last night. Charles Bush and I actually went and saw Oliver at City Center, and I was reminded just how amazing certain things can be, because there are always certain musicals that I think are known as just chestnuts, and everyone thinks they've seen them because community theaters do them, but you never really get to see a huge professional production of it.
Mhm.
And to see it is, very exciting. And so right now that's actually top of mind for me too. So yeah.
Very good, very good. Did you see Leah Michelle do Funny Girl or no?
I did. She was wonderful. Yeah,
Oh,
I
cool.
did.
Very
Yeah,
good.
she's great.
Awesome. What are you doing for Pride Month? You doing any
For
big?
Pride Month,
Yeah.
watching a lot of Betty Davis movies. Does that count?
That count,
That
sure.
counts? Fabulous. Okay. I have a project I'm working on that I actually think I can't say too much about right now, but I think we're gonna make that. We're gonna actually, well, it's in a couple of weeks. We're going to be
Mhm.
doing that. So I'll be doing that for almost the entire month, and then I'm sure I'll find some times to go have a drink somewhere. And who am I kidding? I'm gonna be coming home and watching Betty Davis movies. But
I love it.
yeah.
I mean, the references that you're using, everything, it seems like you're an old soul. Was that a good description of you,
I suppose.
or was it influences of your parents, or what was it?
No, no. Well, if anyone in my biological family, it's probably my grandmother, who always, would always have Turner Classic Movies on in the background, and constantly, and she was the one who went to the theater. And I've actually sort of pieced together. She got sick. She had dementia for like the last decade and a half of her life. And I've actually just recently sort of pieced together that it's very possible that one of the last plays that she saw on her own with her husband, my grandfather, was possibly when I was going through her stuff in Connecticut, Tale of the Allergist's Wife, which was written by Charles Bush, who wrote and directed The Sixth Reel, and has become a major figure in my life. So another full circle moment there. So yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm so happy for you. It seems like things are going really well for you, and
I
careers.
suppose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, very good. And then where can people follow your work, and where would you like people to find everything?
Well, so the only public social media platform that I have is on Instagram. I'm at Doug Plaut Person, DOUG PLAUT PERSON, and that's on Instagram. And yeah, I think anything that's important, I'm sure I'll be, pouring it out. Oh, can I swear? Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll be, pouring it out there. So yeah,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
you have to come visit us in Chicago, and I
Certainly well.
would love that to meet you in person.
Yeah.
I want to make that
Yeah.
happen.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so, so much.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for taking time to talk today, and awesome. Yes, thank you.